There are times when a free action or an action might work better, maybe after something has occurred as a trigger, or maybe a little bit outside of your turn, but you do not need your full turn in order to do it, or you don't want to lose your spot in the initiative order. That would be a good time to use ready. My name is Don. I'm trying to be the sly strategist, and let's go ahead and talk about it. Now, ready requires two actions to prepare, and it does require the concentration trait. The concentration trait is there basically because you are waiting for something to occur in order for your reaction to happen. When you use ready, you are preparing to do something outside of your turn when it might be better suited or might perform better. With ready, you can perform a single action or a free action. Single action being like a strike, or maybe you want to cast guidance, or a free action like a release that you would like to use when a certain condition is met, and you have to define what trigger that condition would be. A lot of times you would use ready mainly for the teamwork aspect of combat because something might work better after one of your other players or one of the people in your party has performed something, or when all the creatures on the battlefield have moved around. One thing I will say as far as the free action part of it is you cannot ready a free action that already requires a trigger. So a good example of that I can think of off the top of my head is Halfling Luck. Halfling Luck already has a trigger, so it can't be used as a ready action. Now, when you tell your GM that you are readying an action, your turn is immediately over. So ready is the last thing you would do. Since ready only uses the two actions, ensure that you've used your first action before you invoke this. Now, there are cases where you might think you don't have anything else to do, but there's always things to try. You could try and intimidate. You could try diplomacy. You could try deception. Always kind of try to give that first action something to do, even if you don't particularly think you can do anything. But if you can't think of anything else to do, delay might be a better choice unless you need the reaction, the trigger on the reaction, or you want to keep your order in the initiative. That would be a case where delay might be a little bit better. So before the end of your next turn, if the trigger occurs, you would use your readied action as a reaction as long as you still meet the requirements. Now, what that means is, let's say that your trigger was one of your fellow party members was going to grapple the monster in order to give you an advantage to do something. However, he either missed or the monster had moved out of its position and you are no longer in a position to do your readied action. Let's say your readied action was a strike. Well, if he is no longer adjacent to you or out of your reach, you can no longer perform that reaction, so that reaction is lost. If you are unable to perform that action or the trigger does not occur before your next turn, you are going to lose that readied action. However, I don't want to emphasize that too much. The readied action really does help with teamwork and group combat, and a lot of times, because of how much the plus ones or the negative ones really matter in Pathfinder, readied is a fantastic action to use. One thing I will say is that if you already have incurred a multiple attack penalty, let's say your first action was a strike, that multi attack penalty goes into the reaction as well. This is one of the few cases where the multi attack penalty does continue on outside of your turn. So just keep that in mind as to what your first action is and just how important the multi attack penalty is. In some cases, your reaction or whatever you're going to do after the trigger occurs is not an attack, so it wouldn't matter. But it's just something to keep in mind. And because ready and delay are similar, I'd like to give a couple examples of when ready might be better. So let's say you're fighting a group of monsters and you have a monster directly next to you and you know he's on his last leg. Well, what you could do is with your first action, you could strike and knock him down, kill him, whatever you would be required to do. but they would have come up in the initiative order before your next turn. So what you could do is you could dispatch that monster, ready an action to move to another area of the fight when a trigger occurs. Let's say one of your player character moves out of the way so you can actually go to the new area of the fight within your stride. Or let's say a new group of monsters have come into the fight and they're rushing towards your group. Right now, they're too far away, but you're a caster, so you're just a little bit squishy and you don't want to be the first one to meet that new group of monsters because, you might just get knocked down pretty quick. So they're too far away, so you might ready an action to cast a spell. Let's say a good single action spell might be Invoke True Name. This is the big bad evil guy, the BBEG, and you want to wait until he's within that 30-foot range before you cast your spell, and that would be your trigger. Well, that would be a fantastic use of ready without you having to put yourself into an area of danger. Well, I hope this quick tip of ready kind of helped you out, or maybe taught you something new, or maybe gave you another perspective on something you already knew. But I hope you liked it. And if you did, feel free to like, subscribe, or hit that notification bell. But whether you do or you don't, I hope you have a great day and happy adventuring. Thanks.